her. Them bitches was coming at you about your because they had too much ammo for you.
Don't act like you didn't say that.
I wasn't there. Now, damn sure ain't gonna come to somebody.
The air in the room was so thick with tension, you could almost feel it pressing against your skin. Cameras buzzed in the background, their unblinking lenses capturing every second. Bright studio lights blazed overhead, casting sharp shadows on the walls. Crew members shuffled around, adjusting equipment, but to Yandy and Rasheeda, they were invisible. Their focus was on each other, their words the only weapons they had. This wasn't just another day of shooting a reality show. This was real, raw, personal. Yandy sat rigid, her heart hammering against her ribs. She had built a life of strength and grace, always poised, always composed. But tonight, it felt like her armor was cracking. Across from her was Rasheeda, her closest friend turned challenger. Their bond had survived years of ups and downs, laughter and tears. But everything changed when Mendices entered Yandy's life. At first, Rasheeda had stood by her side, supportive and protective. But over time, doubts crept in. Doubts about Mendices' loyalty, his decisions, and his intentions. The tension between the two women grew quietly at first, but now, like a dam under too much pressure, it was about to burst. Rasheeda's eyes burned with frustration as she fired the first shot. "Are you seriously defending him?" she asked, her voice sharp with disbelief. "After everything he's done? You still think he's Prince Charming?" The words hit Yandy hard, but she refused to let her emotions show. Her composure remained, even though her chest tightened with anger. She clenched her jaw, trying to keep her voice steady. "Why do you always have something to say about Mendices?" Yandy shot back. "You're not in this relationship. I am. I deal with his past. I carry the weight of his mistakes, so don't stand there and act like you know what's best for me." Her voice wavered ever so slightly, a crack that hinted at the pain she had kept buried. Rasheeda scoffed, rolling her eyes. The sound was like a spark to dry tinder, igniting a fire that had been waiting to burn. "You sit on the sidelines, judging every move I make," Yandy continued, her voice growing louder. "But you don't know what I've been through. You don't know what we've fought for, and yet here you are, playing the all-knowing expert on my life." The air between them grew heavier, thick with the weight of unresolved emotions and unspoken resentment. Rasheeda had always been a lingering presence in Yandy's relationship with Mendices, an ever-present shadow casting doubt. Now, that shadow felt suffocating, impossible to escape. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, her tone turned colder. "You think you're the only one who's been hurt?" she snapped. "You think I don't know what it feels like to love someone who keeps messing up? He's hurt you. He's hurt me. But I'm done watching you pretend he's some changed man when all he does is drag you down." The words were a punch to Yandy's gut. For a moment, she felt the ground shift beneath her feet. Everything inside her screamed to fight back, to let her rage explode into the open. But the cameras were still rolling. She refused to let the world see her break. She clenched her fists so tightly her knuckles turned white. Her emotions swirled like a storm, ready to burst. She had fought for her relationship, sacrificed for love, and endured heartache most people couldn't imagine. And yet here she was, standing at the center of a battle that felt as personal as it was public. Rasheeda's interference, Mendices' mistakes, and the endless drama had worn her down. Every piece of her life felt under attack. The crew stood silently, unsure whether to step in or let the moment play out. They weren't just filming a fight, they were witnessing the unraveling of a friendship, the collapse of trust, and the birth of something far darker, resentment, that had been brewing for years. Patience flew back and forth, words cutting deeper than knives. Yandy's eyes filled with fire as she unleashed the frustration she had buried for far too long. "You don't know anything about forgiveness," she said. "You don't know how hard it is to keep loving someone when the whole world tells you to walk away." Rasheeda's face tightened, her expression a mixture of anger and pain. "And you don't know what it's like to watch your best friend destroy herself for someone who doesn't deserve her." The room seemed to hold its breath as the confrontation reached its peak. Yandy, feeling like she could no longer stand it, stormed out, her heels clicking sharply against the floor. Cameras tracked her every step. But for her, the real fight wasn't over. It had only just begun. Rumors started swirling soon after, whispers that Mendices had grown tired of Yandy's pride. gossip that he had rekindled things with Erica. Some even claimed they were secretly married. For Yandy, the betrayal hit like a knife twisting in her heart. Her marriage, already fragile, felt shattered beyond repair. And as the world watched her life unravel on screen, she was left wondering who she could trust, if anyone at all. Yandy's pride kept her holding on for far too long. Even as her heart shattered little by little, she refused to let go. But now, weighed down by betrayal and broken promises, she faced the hardest truth. Love isn't always enough to hold a family together. Mendices was gone, with Erica by his side, and Yandy was left standing in the ruins of everything she had fought to protect. Erica had warned Yandy to stay away from her man or face trouble if their paths ever crossed. Many people thought Yandy would finally get the happiness she deserved after all she had endured. She had sacrificed so much while Mendices was in prison. For those who haven't kept up with the drama, here's the full story. Earlier this year, Mendices was released from prison, where he had been serving time for drug crimes. During his sentence, Yandy stayed loyal. She took care of their family and handled everything alone. When he came home, she even went to counseling with him, trying to repair their marriage and move forward. But instead of showing loyalty and gratitude, Mendices reignited his relationship with Erica, Yandy's biggest rival. It's a sad truth. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If you followed this messy love triangle between Mendices, Yandy, and Erica, it's painfully obvious that Yandy has been ignoring the red flags in her marriage. Deep inside, she knows Mendices hasn't been truthful. She knows he's still connected to Erica. But her pride and refusal to face reality have kept her stuck. She wants to believe she's the only woman in his life, even though it couldn't be further from the truth. Erica has been part of Mendices' life long before Yandy appeared. That history shows how deeply he's always cared for Erica. Samantha, one of Mendices' other baby mamas, even claimed that Erica was one of the few women he genuinely loved. Erica has also shared how serious their relationship was. They lived together, traveled, and met each other's families. She helped raise his first child when Samantha wasn't around. Her commitment to him was undeniable. When Mendices' life started falling apart, he needed stability and someone with a clear future. That's when Yandy came into the picture, and eventually they got married. But rumors are now swirling that after his release, he packed his things, left Yandy, and went back to Erica. Yandy does not deserve this. She stood by him when he was at his lowest, took care of his business, and managed everything while he was locked away. She even got involved in drama with his other baby mamas to defend him. She fought to hold their family together when he couldn't. And what was her reward? Mendices admitted that he married her out of duty, not love. He even confessed that if the roles were reversed, he wouldn't have stayed loyal or done the same for her. This admission was devastating. Imagine giving your heart and soul to someone, only for them to admit they wouldn't have done the same for you. It was a painful blow and a harsh reminder of how little Mendices valued Yandy's sacrifices. Despite everything, she remained loyal, dedicated, and hopeful for their future. She held on when others would have let go. Yandy's challenges didn't end with Mendices. His mother never treated her with the respect she deserved. Throughout it all, Yandy remained resilient, showing strength and grace. She raised his children with love, offering them stability during difficult times. She worked tirelessly to build a solid foundation for a future she believed in, a future Mendices wasn't willing to fight for. The betrayal cuts deep. After all she endured, Yandy deserved love, trust, and gratitude. Instead, she received disrespect, dishonesty, and heartache. Her story is a painful reminder that love, no matter how strong, can't survive without honesty, trust, and appreciation. Yandy's strength is inspiring, but her pain shows the harsh truth about misplaced loyalty and love that isn't returned.